Growing up, my mom was actually a hairstylist, and she had her own salon in our house, so I was her little assistant for most of the days, and I would sweep up her hair and do all those things. And so definitely as I got older, I actually went to University of Western first, and then I got pregnant, so I came back home and I had Mason, and then from there I decided I wanted to do my creative path, and I went for the hairdressing program. I chose St. Clair because I heard the program was absolutely phenomenal, and everyone that went there before said the teachers were phenomenal, and everyone had fantastic jobs after, and all their skills were absolutely amazing, so I knew I wanted to go to St. Clair. So after I graduated St. Clair College, I went right into the field, and then sadly 4 months later our son was diagnosed with rhabdomyosarcoma cancer, and I completely stopped doing what I was doing. I dropped everything, and we were by his side for the entire 14 months of his battle. So Mason had rhabdomyosarcoma. It's a soft tissue cancer that affects not many kids, but it affects enough children. And in the spot that Mason had, it was in his pelvis, and it was about 10 centimeters when we found it. So pretty big. We went directly to London and Toronto, and we started his protocol right away. So Mason's journey, I was getting text messages and phone calls every day, and I just felt like it was too much for me to handle, so I figured I would do the Mason Fight page. And just to let family and friends know what was going on. I never imagined it would blow up to 17,000 followers and all over the world. The superhero theme came from my husband, who's a big superhero fan, and we had to figure out a way to tell Mason that he was sick without telling him he was sick or there was something wrong with him. So in all cancer patients, they get a port in their chest, and we decided that it wasn't going to be for medication, it wasn't going to be a medical thing. We decided it was just like Iron Man, what Iron Man has, and through that superhero port, he would get all his superpowers, and he never had chemo. He only got superpowers through IV and that, and it was about getting rid of the bad guys in him, and it never was about being sick or different. It was him embracing his superhero and becoming one of the Avengers once he was done. So the Fight Like Mason Foundation, the idea began when Mason became terminal, and we said his fight wasn't finished. Maybe his body was finished fighting, but his fight wasn't finished. And we told him, and we made a promise that we're going to continue to fight for him. 2 weeks after he passed, we did all the paperwork to become a registered charity. Since then, it's been an amazing ride. The biggest thing that we wanted was research and childhood cancer. Only 4% of our government funding actually goes to childhood cancer, and that's the entire umbrella of childhood cancer. So Mason's cancer only got 0.02% of funding, which pretty much means if he relapsed, which he did, and he progressed, that there was no more options for him. And we want to change that, so that's one of our biggest goals. And another big goal of ours is to make sure that these children are so proud of their battles. It's through the IV poles that we've created and the wheelchairs we've created and any step of the way in the hospital to make that child feel special, whether it's in Windsor, in London, in Toronto. We want to make sure those kids know that we're fighting with them and by their side. Ian loves superheroes and everything about superheroes, so by association, I also had to. And he decided that when Mason passed, we wanted to go into hospitals and bring smiles to children and make them feel like the superheroes from the movies are actually visiting them. So he found custom-made suits for him and I that were made from all over the world, and they are movie-grade outfits, or as he would call them, uniforms. And the kids believe that the characters from the movies are actually visiting them, which is absolutely amazing. Mason was our only child for 4 years, and then 3 months after he passed, we found out that we were expecting another little boy, and he was actually due around the time that Mason passed, which was scary, but also very special that we felt like he was sent to us because Mason didn't want us to be so heartbroken that month. His name is Miller, Miller Mace, so he's named after his brother. And then we also have a new little girl that just came 2 weeks ago, and her name is Piper Phoenix, which Phoenix represents rise from the ashes, so a part of her brother is in her. Miller loves superheroes, and his favorite superhero is Mace Man. Once he's old enough, once he's 4, we are going to get the outfit that's behind me here made for Miller, and he will go as Mace Man and encourage kids in the hospitals, like me and Ian do as well, and to let the kids know that they're not fighting alone. So far in 2 years, we are proud to announce that we have made $500,000, raised $500,000, and donated 400 of that as well. And for the future, we want to make Mason the next Terry Fox. You know, it's time for another child to take the torch and to bring awareness to cancer and just have him at that level. That's what our goal is.